It is Tuesday, the 30th day of May 2023. Hello there and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, President Yoweri Museveni extends PDM and Emyoga loan payment terms. Pilgrims from the animating Diocese of Jinja arrive in Mukono. UPDF and other security organs take over security along key roads in Namugongo. And in sports, Vipers progress to the finals of the Uganda Cup despite loss. And welcome once again. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma and we are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. And shortly we'll be going to Mukono to join our colleague Jordan Michael Lukoma, who is actually with the pilgrims who have trekked all the way from Jinja, but now they have arrived in Mukono, and we'll be going live in a moment. But let's begin with President Yoweri Museveni, who has issued a new payment terms for poverty alleviation programs, parish development model and Emyoga. Now, according to the new order, the beneficiaries of parish development model will start paying back their loan installment after 2 years and Emyoga after 1 year as opposed to 4 months. The President issued the directive at the NRM parliamentary retreat at Chiankwanzi. We'll be going to that story momentarily, but now let's go to Mukono, where our colleague Michael Jordan Lukoma has been interacting with the pilgrims who have actually trekked all the way from Jinja, and now they are resting. They are now resting at Mukono Catholic Diocese. Jordan, if you can get me, let's get to Jordan momentarily. Jordan.
Yes, Edward.
Yes,
Edward.
Good evening. I had lost you momentarily there. Good evening, and you are live on TV, and would like to give us a brief of what is actually happening. We understand that the pilgrims who have trekked all the way from Jinja have actually arrived in Mukono, and now they are resting there. Just give us the update of what's going on.
Exactly like you said, the Catholic Church has 4 archdioceses. And this time it is a diocese from Tororo Archdiocese that is animating Mass this time, the celebrations of the Uganda Matters Day at the Catholic Anglican Shrine, and that is Jinja Diocese. They set off yesterday for their pilgrimage to the shrine, and they walked from Jinja. They spent a night in Lugazi. They are spending another one in Mukono, and we have been walking with them. Our colleague Robert Onyango has been working with them, and right now we want to talk to them and see how they are, what's the plan for tomorrow, to see that they get to Namugongo by Saturday to animate Mass. There are over 5,000 according to the information that we have gathered, and we want to know how they managed to mobilize and also reach here in that number. There are so many young people, the children and the old, they're all here. Among them is the Executive Director of the National Planning Authority and also Owechiti Insa, the Katukiro of Busoga Kingdom, that is Dr. Joseph Movawala, and at least we'll take an opportunity to talk to him on behalf of all the pilgrims that came from Jinja. Doctor, we are so glad to have you for a brief moment here to talk to you as UBC.
Thank you very much, UBC. And good evening, viewers.
Yes. What does this mean to you? How did you think about being part of this pilgrimage to walk from Jinja? We were watching you on TV. We covered you from the cathedral up to here, and you just have a few kilometers to Namugongo. How did you think about this to make a choice to be part of the arrangement?
Well, first of all, I'm Joseph Vincent, so I am a Catholic, a devoted one. It was my time to devote myself to my faith and to pray through the matters, to pray for our country, to pray for ourselves, and pray for Busoga. Secondly, it is the Tororo Archdiocese, and Ginger Diocese in particular animating. And I am part of the committee, and I felt it necessary. As part of doing my pilgrim, I lead these pilgrims to Namugongo. It was only fitting.
So we are told you people are over 5,000. Is that true, or it is us, the media, that are saying it? Is it true you are over 5,000 pilgrims from Ginger this time around? Because no diocese has hit that record.
I think precisely we are over 6,000. When counting, when we left Ginger, the number was that big. And you can see this number is even bigger here. So, but the most important thing is the level of mobilization that happened on the ground, the love of Busoga for our people, and the fact that they have given their time, their resources, their energy to come to Namugongo.
What were the techniques that you used to mobilize people? I've seen children, I can see the old, I can see the youth. What is that technique that you used as a diocese, as the organizing committee, to mobilize them to be here, to be part of this arrangement?
First of all, the bishop was our chief mobilizer. We included the politicians, and we are using parishes. You know, parishes as old as Christianity in this country. And now you see we have a parish model. Based on, we have a parish model within the church. It has lived in the church for a very long time. And parishes contributed, each parish, every adult contributed whatever they had to contribute. So it was a model which I liked. It was grassroots based. And this tells you that it can work. Yes, it can.
So what is the plan for Saturday? You see, every diocese is remembered for something at the shrine. The day they performed, everybody will tell you, we can't forget the Adungu from Gulu, we can't forget this from where. What is Ginger bringing in Namugongo?
You know, Basogas are known for their vibe. You're going to have the vibe. Trust me, you'll have vibe. Watch out for that choir.
This is my last one to you for Ugandans to watch news.
Yes.
You have walked, at least you have 25% of the journey to go.
Yes.
What lesson have you picked? And I would love you to share it to Uganda there who has never thought about this. Because everybody of us in these two churches belongs to diocese.
Yes.
Many of us have never thought about being part of a pilgrimage.
Yes.
What lesson have you drawn away from what motivated you? What lesson have you drawn as a Christian? I would love you to share it to a Ugandan watcher.
You know, you cannot imagine the power of walking without any disturbance while you think through your life. You think through the things you should achieve. You think through the things that God has given you, particularly myself. I can only thank God and pray even for more. Oliver Trist. So I have been praying all through. I have never gotten such a time. And praying through endurance. Unbelievable. But on the side of planning, our roads need walkways. Seriously. It is not a luxury to provide walkways on roads. Because you noticed we inconvenienced people a lot. Tomorrow is going to be terrible, I can assure you.
In fact, I wanted to ask you, as the man who heads the planning authority, how do we take advantage of these events as a country? How are we taking good advantage of such events like Namugongo is an international thing? How can we take advantage, or have we taken advantage of Namugongo as a country for our economic growth, for our everything? How can we, or have we?
No, we haven't yet. We haven't yet. And I can tell you clearly, any country that succeeds with the tourism starts with its own people. No country has ever succeeded with tourism basing on outsiders. No country has ever succeeded with coffee based on outsiders. So we have to, our people must consume our coffee, our people must consume the tourism here. This is the biggest tourist event we have, religious tourism event in this country.
So how can we take advantage?
And we can only take advantage of this if we mobilize our people around their dioceses, but at the same time, we have, I think, to plan Namugongo as a special planning area. It has a big potential, bigger than many tourist sites, religious tourist sites I've seen in the world. I have seen it live, and I will propose it if it can be taken by the powers that be. You know, the chief planner of this country is known. It's not me. Yes.
We heard you have a shortfall in the budget as Ginger Diocese. Have you closed these gaps? Do you still have some gaps? Somebody could be watching there and he may be having an envelope in his house.
We need more. when you look at that economic curve, it curves. It means that more is better than less. So we need more. It is not right. I'm not the spokesman of the diocese, but I know I am on the financial committee. I also know that the 2 billion that the president gave to us is on our account. This afternoon we processed it, and I want to thank government. Our budget was 2.3 billion, and we have already collected over 600 million. So we should be in surplus, but we need more money.
What is your message to the Musoga watching you right now as we're winding you? It could be best actually if you put it in the local language.
Yes. Abali Musoga mwana wena tulibeta mwide tuingire Kampala. Tulage ku abantu baife bana abe Buganda ni Uganda yona nti tuli wo okuva ku independence tuli wo era tulidda kubawo.
Tukweyanziza inosebo. He is Dr. Joseph Movawala. He's the Katukiro of Busoga and also the Executive Director, National Planning Authority. Edward, you wanted to say something. I'm giving you a second before I go.
Can see you have got so many people behind you. I don't know whether those are pilgrims also or just people from around there. But thank you so much for the...
And according to his part of the organizing committee, there are over 7,000. That is according to him. There are over 7,000. I thank you so much also for the time. My mat is waiting for me. It's getting cold. I have to sleep. Thank you so much, Edward and the team.
That has been our reporter, Michael Jordan Lukoma, who is actually in Mukono with the pilgrims who have trekked all the way from Jinja, and now they are already there. Tomorrow they will be trekking from Mukono to Namugongo Catholic Matters Shrine, and of course as UBC we shall be there to give you everything as it unfolds. But let's go back to the first story where President Museveni has issued new payment terms for poverty alleviation programs, that is the parish development module and Emyoga programs. Take a watch.
Day 4 of NRM Parliamentary Caucus, and this is how it started. Parish development model, Emyoga and corruption dominated the day, where the time frame set by the Ministry of Microfinance to pay back the money was too short.
Of Kasoro, they started demanding money to be paid back in Yoga in 4 months. 4 months. I came to know this from the intelligence. Why do you want people to pay back in 4 months? When I asked Kasoro, he said, no, some of them want to pay in 4 months. I said, this is a bit suspicious.
To the new order, the beneficiaries of parish development model will start paying back their loan installment after 2 years and Emyoga after 1 year.
I don't want you to hear anybody paying back the Emyoga money in less than 12 months. Emyoga, you start paying back after 12 months. And the borrower decides whether to pay all the amount at a go or to pay in installments but finish within 24 months. That's my directive now, and I don't want any other debate.
Museveni castigated the Minister for Microfinance for failing to fight corruption that has engulfed the poverty alleviation program, which the minister denied involvement in.
Some of the businessmen were getting this money and going to import products from China and come back and pay, but the money doesn't go to the people who want. It now becomes cheap money for importers, for traders. I had that allegation, but Kasolo denied it, and I believed him, but he should clarify it, because maybe you have also heard it.
The Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo, tasked National Planning Authority Managing Director to come up with clear ways to fight corruption, which she says is on the rise. Ms. Alupo also demanded NPA to explain if the loan the country is borrowing is viable or is making losses.
Have we been guiding ourselves on where to borrow and how to borrow and why we're borrowing? Because I know that, for instance, we borrow for productive sectors. We borrow for productive specific programs or projects, so that money is accrued and plowed back to the economy. And that means that the time we have been borrowing from NDP 1, NDP 2, all those loans should be able now to enable us as a country, as a government, to have a sustainable economy.
The 6 directives on increasing household incomes, wealth creation, and the critical role of the leader.
Charlotte Amuge with that story there. Now, the story of martyrdom in Uganda climaxes at Namugongo, the chief execution site where a total of 45 martyrs were burnt to death following their refusal to denounce Christianity. Now, a number of reports suggest that before the famous killings of the martyrs, numerous executions were carried out at Namugongo, and of course these were of different victims who went against the laws of the land in Buganda Kingdom and defied the Kabaka's orders. Information stemming as far as 1776 suggests that the then Kabaka, known as Chawagu, gazetted Namugongo as an execution site for whoever disobeyed him. Unique about the matters, though, is that they were slayed for the love of their faith, a development that also marked the end of bloodshed, thus planting the seed of martyrdom. Take a watch. We do apologize for the glitch in that story, but the technical team is working on it and will bring it to you when it is ready to run. Meanwhile, the Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, has declared Uganda's readiness to ratify the Single African Air Transport Market Declaration. Now, this move signifies Uganda's commitment to the liberalization and integration of the African aviation market, further solidifying the country's position as a key player in the industry. Katumba revealed this during the launch of the African Airlines Association Annual General Assembly event at the Uganda Media Center.
The Single Africa Air Transport Market Declaration seeks to establish a single unified air transport market in Africa by removing restrictions on market access, granting traffic rights, and promoting fair competition among African airlines.
So far, we have 35 states which have signed and committed to it. However, some of them are not fully implementing the provision of the Yamoussoukro decision. They have not yet reviewed their bilateral air service agreements, and some states are still denying fifth freedom traffic rights or even third and fourth freedom traffic rights. This is not helping to improve the connectivity in Africa.
By ratifying SATA, Uganda aims to enhance connectivity, foster economic growth, and promote tourism across the continent.
Yes, we are going to sign for SATA. We have already finished all that was required. We have had full discussion with the AFCAC. We had an engagement during ICAO meeting in Canada. So we are ready. We'll be able to sign for SATAM, and I think that will.
The 55th edition of the African Airlines Association Annual General Assembly, hosted by Uganda Airlines, will bring together key industry players in the African aviation industry.
For Uganda Airlines to host such an event in just 3 years of operationalization shows the firm and visionary leadership. So congratulations, Uganda Airlines, Madam Jennifer and your team, and also the board.
Jennifer Wamturaki, the CEO of Uganda Airlines and president of AFRA, outlined her commitment to advancing the African aviation sector.
I pledged to focus on 4 areas, and which are cutting the bureaucracy and red tape of regulatory regimes that impede intra-Africa connectivity. Uganda Airlines is a victim of this. Creating pathways for increased partnerships and collaboration within the continent to reduce the fragility of startup airlines. Support initiatives that promote sustainable operations of airlines on the continent by taking bold steps to invest in research. And finally, advocate for open skies.
The Assembly will also serve as a platform to address the crucial issues and fragility points that the industry faces. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has received a brand new digital record player worth $800 from the University of Western Australia. Now, this advanced audio player will assist UBC radios making information shelved from the 1950s and 60s accessible to the audience. Representing the University of Western Australia, Professor Richard Vaux handed over the advanced audio player to UBC. This donation signifies the collaborative effort between academic institutions and media organizations to preserve and promote cultural heritage and historical knowledge.
And it records in real time. You can't fast forward. So for the records that we have, it will be work in progress. Every day somebody will be digitizing the records that are there. So it's adequate, and we are thankful for the donation.
This project has been ongoing for many years. This is the latest phase, and we think that we hope that it will go on for many more years to come yet. This particular part of it, the digitization of the images, has been done by a very specialist unit, the Western Australian Digitisation Centre, and we thank them for all of their hard work on this project as well.
As you might know, archived material that is only kept and not put to use is as good as useless. So we have the material. We do not have to go searching on eBay and all that. We have it here, so we are going to put it in the right format and use it at our own convenience.
That was UBC Managing Director Winston Gaba ending that story there. Now, Uganda government has officially inaugurated the budget month, an annual celebration starting May 30th into June, coinciding with the budget reading. Now, this year's budget theme revolves around a comprehensive monetization of the Ugandan economy, with emphasis on commercial agriculture, industrialization for economic transformation, and digital transformation.
The introduction of the 52.7 trillion budget for the financial year 2023-24 coincides with the commencement of the budget month.
So the citizens would want you to tell us where are the issues in revenue mobilization? What particular areas of accountability and transparency need to be worked on to ensure that we are effective?
During the event, notable achievements announced were a significant increase in the taxable register, indicating the expansion of the formal economy.
Whereas we could be having about 9 million potential taxpayers, our register now stands at 3.2 million. This is a significant rise from about 1.4 million taxpayers, where we were less than 3 years ago.
Positive signs were observed in the global economy, with decreasing inflation and a gradual recovery from the impact of the pandemic and geopolitical tensions.
The global economic recovery has benefited from retreating global commodity prices due to the cooling off of tight monetary policies worldwide Although the effects of tight monetary policies have manifested in global banking sector.
Civil society participants underscored tackling corruption, inclusivity, and efficient debt management.
I think we have to raise the bar in terms of fighting corruption and take it to another level. Not only should we arrest people, but to recover that money so that when they come out of jail or wherever, they find nothing. So make corruption very risky, save the money. I know that corruption cannot be eradicated, but can be reduced to a level that can allow development, which is the position of the government.
They called for the removal of non-performing projects.
Non-performing projects, non-functional projects, slow-performing projects must be thrown out of a public investment management system. They are crowding out monies and also reducing the fiscal space for us to spend. This goes along with the accounting officers that are managing these projects.
Private sector participation in driving economic growth, policy making and budgeting was commended.
Also around me, thank the Uganda Revenue Authority, specifically the Commissioner General and your technical teams for always offering an open window policy to the private sector every time we have issues present that are affecting our growth and competitiveness.
With the launch of the budget month, Uganda seems committed to advancing economic transformation while ensuring transparency and accountability in budgetary processes. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News, in Kampala.
To the courts of law now, where the High Court Criminal Division has dismissed Kasolo Kopuliamu's application of being granted 50 million shillings for advancements so as to locate his witnesses to court. Judge Isaac Mwata said that it's upon the registrar of this court to assist Kasolo do the said adverts.
The sixth accused person is in the murder of Maria Nagirinya and her driver, Onadich Taimbwa, have appeared in High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. Before Judge Isaac Mwata, court declined to grant Kasolo Kopuliamu's application of being granted 50 million Ugandan shillings for advertisements so as to locate his witnesses.
The record does not indicate that A1, that is Mr. Kasolo, indicated to the Chief Magistrate's Court at Mengo that he desired to call the said witnesses. They will only be called if you provide their particulars, that is their address and all that. That's when this court can allow you to bring them. And that one will be done by the Deputy Registrar. Is the one who facilitates the calling of the witnesses for the prosecution. We're also giving you that opportunity for him to call yours.
Judge Isaac Mwata said it was the responsibility of the court's registrar to summon the witnesses, but not Kasolo as the accused.
Money was to be expended in the process that would still be in the domain of the court, not the accused person. A1 is advised to avail the Deputy Registrar with the particulars of his witnesses to be summoned. I find that it is in the interest of justice to do so, but subject to the accused person providing the particulars of the witnesses.
Kasolo, however, informed court that he didn't have the witnesses' contacts and it would be hard to allocate them.
The registrar is here, so the prisoners' authorities will make sure that you see him and you tell him the particulars of your...
The witnesses Kasolo want to use in this case include Chomuhendo Jessica, Nalukenge Farida, Naigaga Deborah, Kafelo Dan, and Orumo David. Kasolo also refuted the accusations made by his co-accused Kalyango Nassif of wanting to kill him in the prison, although court got him another lawyer, Serwangwa Geoffrey.
Gambangako ku kintu kyonna era kooti ne bange yagala okufuna kujuza obusinga waawo kumafa prison bwera. Sikulagira alawe kibanga kisoboka ekitibo omulamuzi. Kooti bwe besobola okufuna we muteeka obanze ne bafuna we banteeka oba sikyo ne balagira ku bakamu bafe bana ba prison. Obuna jja n'abeera waawo mwaneeno nga basobola okujulira. Oweekitiibwa omulamuzi, nsaba kkooti embeerera ya kisa enkyusizeemu ku pulizoni gye yansindika olw'ensonga nfuna okutiisibwa nga bwe nakiteeka mu sitatimenti yange okwagala okunzita. Kasolo n'ono munne be bantiisatiisa era nga nakiteeka.
Judge Isaac Muwata adjourned the matter to 6th June 2023 for further hearing. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Namugongo, UBC News.
Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA political wing, has appealed to government to increase the budget allocation for KCCA to facilitate the development of the city. KCCA Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago says government can permit KCCA to utilize locally collected revenue to fund city operations. This was during the State of the City address here in Kampala.
Kampala, the capital city, continues to grapple with a concerning state of roads and poor drainage as the government has allocated sufficient funds to improve the infrastructure. At least 7 kilometers of roads were constructed using the available funds in the financial year 2022-2023.
The paved kilometers we have, as you can see, 213 kilometers, they are in good condition. 204 fair, 237 poor. That is the state of affairs as of today. But 100, that totals up to 654. And the unpaved network constitutes 1,454 kilometers.
Markets play a vital role in facilitating consistent transactions, but their current state is worrying, with some being abandoned due to unfavorable geographical locations that hinder business growth.
The structures in most markets are dilapidated, rotten, and not fit for purpose. While the number of the unemployed and the urban poor keeps growing exponentially due to immigration factors and the high cost of business, little efforts has been made to fund the creation of more workspaces.
Arias Lukwago, the KCCA Lord Mayor, urges government to allow the authority utilize locally generated revenue for city development while also considering an increased budget allocation for the city in the upcoming financial year.
And as we embark on a new program, a new agenda, and enter into a new financial year, we must say no to this phenomenon of unfunded priorities. It's a vulgarization of the word. If it's a priority, it's a priority. It's a misnomer to even call a priority unfunded priority, because then it ceases to be a priority.
In addition, the Inspector General of Government (IGG) report has identified KCCA as the most corrupt local government authority for the past 3 years and the third most corrupt entity in the country, as reported in their biannual reports to Parliament. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
To matters pertaining to health now, and it's said that more men are dying of HIV/AIDS than women, according to recent figures from Uganda AIDS Commission. The Commission's Director General, Nelson Musoba, says the prevalence is more in urban than rural areas. This was during the annual Candlelight HIV/AIDS Memorial at Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, where the Permanent Secretary, Irene Watebe, envisioned a world free from HIV stigma.
We share the challenge. And 3, we share the challenge.
It is a candle lighting session in memory of the departed due to HIV/AIDS. And it is a dance session in celebration of achievements registered in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Today is me, tomorrow is someone else.
This was at Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development in Kampala.
What helped me to escape dying early was the love and the care and the support I got from my faith community.
And my call to action is for us to end the stigma and discrimination. We are one people, we are one blood.
The message of the day was hope and determination to end the scourge by 2030.
We have been implementing and monitoring a number of HIV/AIDS activities with the aim of preventing the spread of HIV/AIDS within the workplace as well as the communities in which our staff members operate.
This commitment clearly shows that HIV/AIDS still remains a challenge.
When the men were asked how many sexual partners they had had in the previous 12 months, on average, they mentioned up to 7 partners, who were not their spouses. So in addition to their wives, they had sex with 7 other people who were not their wives in the last 12 months. The women, the number was slightly lower, but not any better. It was 4.
Now, we have 2 sins that are making AIDS hard to end. The first sin is selfishness. Equally important is self-righteousness. If we can fight those 2 sins and win, the self-righteousness that says, those people having AIDS deserve to get it.
So time will tell if Uganda will meet its vision and target of ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Ebiseera by'okuzzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripsi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *5*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the GOAT. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy until it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. Her reason to imagine is finesse. And hers is to find what's new and bussin'. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break, and this is our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV this Tuesday, the 30th day of May 2023. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Moving on now, political and economic experts have stressed the need for the East African Community member states to strengthen the integration agenda for social, political and economic transformation. A State Minister for Foreign Affairs in charge of regional cooperation emphasizes that unity is one of the solutions to challenges facing Africa.
Uganda Management Institute and Karibu East Africa have organized a public lecture on Uganda's contribution to the social and economic development of the East African community since 1993. The public lecture at Uganda Management Institute attracted brains in political and economic spheres. State Minister for Foreign Affairs in charge of regional operation, John Mulimba, represented the Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Gadaga. Top on agenda was the need for the East African community to stand firm in promoting integration.
We therefore need economic integration to provide market for our producing families and companies to be assured of the market on principles of competitiveness. The integrated Africa will not only stimulate production in Africa, it will also enable us to negotiate credibly with other big markets such as USA, China, India, Russia, Europe, European Union, etc.
The former Speaker of the East African Legislative Assembly, Margaret Nantongo Zwa, commended Uganda's contribution to the EAC.
Allow me also to mention that Uganda has made commendable contribution in the education of East Africans. Since the liberalization of the education sector in Uganda in 1997 and the introduction of the universal primary education and universal secondary education in the fulfillment of the Millennium Development Goals, opportunities opened to many East African children to enjoy free and affordable education at all levels. At primary levels, many pupils of primary going age have been able to enjoy free education across borders. At DRC, Bombay, children are seen crossing to Uganda.
Ugandan businessman Mike Mukula and a former member of the East African Legislative Assembly, Mukasambide, agree that EAC and Africa need to work together for transformation.
The African continent must survive. If we don't survive by coming together, we are already a nation among nations or a continent still at risk.
In my opinion, I think we need to concretize, first of all, the trade between Uganda and Congo DRC alone can supplant all the trade we expect between Uganda and Europe combined. So why don't we look at this as a material discussion and a decision to be made for Uganda?
Uganda Management Institute also launched the executive training course in regional integration for the East African community. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
to Mbale District now, where Mbale District, in partnership with the African Women and Youth Action for Development, have designed a contingency plan to prepare for and respond to disasters. Mbale Disaster Management Committee Chairperson Regina Mutua Mabonga says the disasters find Mbale leadership without any strategic plan to respond, hence the need to formulate a contingency plan.
The Mbale Disaster Management Committee Chairperson Regina Mutua Mabonga says Bugisu is one of the sub-regions that has suffered landslides and floods that have claimed lives, displaced many and destroyed property. The leadership is ill-prepared without any strategic plan. The occurrence of flash floods in July last year took the ground in partnership with African Women and Youth Action for Development to document the most prone areas.
We had to consult the local communities of the types of disasters that occur in Mbale or that we presume may occur in Mbale. We got a list of them. So what we've done, we've profiled the disasters. We've come up with the coping mechanisms as the communities, and also with the early warning signs.
The Executive Director of African Women and Youth Action for Development, Stephen Boy, explains when the floods occurred in July 2022, it concerned them and rushed to mobilize relief support for the affected communities, although it calls for further intervention.
Our core concern was to save the lives of children, of women, most especially elderly women. We are happy to report that now we have 3,000 new houses constructed as a support of the iron sheets that we gave to the community members. These people need more support, need more access to seeds, need access to materials, need access to business capital.
Some of the causes of the disasters are man-made, especially with residents settling and farming around riverbanks. Given consistent rainfalls in Bugisu sub-region, signs of disasters have been evident, with the recent being in Bulambuli district. Ntalo John, the Defense Secretary, Masanda Village in Mbale City, urges the Office of the Prime Minister to help residents in the prone areas.
Tuli kulabanga ngate amataba gali kutuwoninga eri kujjange esindika abantu ne wiki nga bbiri ezigenze eziyiseewo owa pichipichi ya musitula. Olwekyo guno omulanga nkubirira gavumenti yaffe ekulembera owekitiibwa His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni bakwatire wamu ne Prime Minister omwagalo waffe Nabbanja nti batuyambe abantu bano babafunire ekifo we bayinza okubeera.
We'll now take yet another short break and return with the latest in business.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100 *5# to enjoy free data.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
In partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. Members of the Road Safety Advocacy Coalition Uganda are concerned over the substandard seatbelts on the Ugandan market, coupled with inadequate awareness on the use of safety belts for road safety. This was during a consultative meeting on seatbelt regulation and awareness at Nsambya Inter-Service Hotel. We have more in this story.
Despite government's new road safety guidelines issued in October last year, members of the Road Safety Advocacy Coalition Uganda Rosaku have established that many Ugandans are not bothered about the use of safety seat belts. During a consultative meeting on new seat belts regulations and standards at Nsambya Inter-Service Hotel, there was a call for awareness on the role of seat belts on road safety. Members called upon Uganda National Bureau of Standards to develop new national safety seatbelt standards to match the dynamic technologies. The standards were last reviewed in 2004.
Currently, the standards we have been using are the standards from the 2004 edition, which are outdated, and these are the ones that will enable us to have safer roads and safer movement in the vehicles.
They have called upon government to liaise with civil society on awareness and campaigns on safety and seatbelt promotion.
It is important that while we promote strengthening of regulations, policies and laws, we need badly the awareness and sensitization of the public and even policymakers, because this one empowers people generally to make sure that they know the laws and regulations.
The Uganda road and traffic laws attract a fine of up to 500,000 shillings on safety seatbelt defaulters. The meeting follows a similar meeting last week on road safety and speed regulation, with support from the Global Road Safety Partnership.
Ship operators have brought a second ship to accommodate the increasing number of passengers going to Masaka via Bukakata. They have also denied reports that the MV Nodul Victoria is in a sorry state.
The flooding of River Katonga has attracted increased numbers of passengers using the MV Nodul Victoria going to Masaka via Bukakata. Operators of MV Nodul Victoria have now brought another ship to accommodate the increasing numbers of passengers.
With that Masaka highway, we had this vessel, MV Nodul Express, working in Tanzania, Mwanza, and we made plans to bring it down here because this one vessel, Nodul Victoria, could not handle, the double route going and come back. So whenever when we realized that traffic have grown, we asked this one to come down here. It doesn't come in one day. It has been. It came 2 days ago, and then the intention was that it came to work concurrently with MV Nodul.
Sadala Musoke, the head of the ship, said this was done to assist and expedite the people while they wait for the Ministry of Works to repair Katonga Road. Musoke says the new ship is fast and accommodates a maximum number of people. Musoke refuted social media reports that the MV Nodul Victoria was missing and in poor shape.
That those type of small turbulences happen on this lake. Every year, every season it is there. So therefore, but it's not that bad. Only that it happened when some people are not used to traveling on this water, whatever, because they used to take taxis. Since this route was put there, now it's just a new experience for those new travelers. But for travelers who have been using water transport, or those ones who use planes, turbulences sometimes happen to be there. So they were very overwhelmed by the waves and somehow of that kind. Something that happens when you board a plane. They will say some turbulence, please do ABCD, fasten your seatbelt. It's the same thing.
General Katumba Wamala, the Minister of Works and Transport, said the fares are affordable so that Kaye, UBC News.
Uganda's leading telecommunication company, MTN Uganda, has launched a web phone for easy communication for the public. Now, the launch with Webex is an interesting online application, as we hear in this story.
The public's access to quality communication has been eased by telecommunication giants MTN Uganda. This following launch of the web phone with Webex online application that targets intercontinental communication at rates that were prior for callers within Uganda.
It is a service that allows you to remain connected wherever you go and specifically targeted to our diaspora community. I think before the advent of WhatsApp and later on Zoom became famous during COVID, we used to experience a lot of high roaming charges, a lot of customers walking into the call center or into the shops. Dorcas is here from customer experience. And we get a lot of customers calling us, telling us they get huge bill shocks when they want to travel or they want to talk to their families who are overseas. What we have provided you here today is a service that even goes beyond what we currently are able to get with services such as WhatsApp. Because yes, to be able to call someone internationally today, no matter where they are in Africa or no matter where it is that they are in the world, you can be able to reach them via WhatsApp call, but it also requires that the other person on the other end of the line also has a data line for you to be able to speak to.
In a country like Uganda, whose smartphone penetration is less than 40%, this web phone with Webex is timely.
I know you travel a lot around the world, so how do we ensure that you still remain connected, no matter where you are, to that person? Even if they are in the village and they have their small phone, you can still be able to speak to them. For us as MTN, we truly pride ourselves in having the opportunity and the privilege to keep all our customers connected, no matter where it is that they are.
It's unique and allows not only calling, but also chatting, sending emojis, and having online meetings.
But over and above keeping them connected, I think our greatest joy and pride is being able to do it affordably. As Sophia has ably demonstrated by even putting up the rate, you've actually seen that the rate that you will be charged, first of all, you'll have a local Ugandan number, and the rate at which you should be charged is so much more affordable than if you were to initiate a normal roaming call.
The launch at Fairway Hotel in Kampala attracted several walks of people, including businessmen, scholars, security agencies, and people from the diaspora. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Sports news now, and Ugandans have been treated to an exhibition of Taekwondo skills by Koreans at Serena Hotel in Kampala. Now, this Taekwondo demonstration by Kukiwon, which is a group from Korea, proved the gulf that other nations must bridge to meet standards. John Ban Sentamo reports.
Uganda and Korea's 60 years of collaboration celebrations have continued with a special Taekwondo demonstration from the Kukiwon group from Korea. This spectacle was graced by Uganda's Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Taebwa and other Uganda sports administrators. The day's proceedings was started by a K-pop presentation by Smash Talent Kid Group, followed by a Taekwondo demonstration by Kume University that has confirmed lessons from the Kukiwon demonstration.
They are more perfect, I know. I think they have been learning since when the were young, but for us here in Uganda, we have a lot of work. So for them, I think they are more and more trained.
So I hope that more and more the Uganda Taekwondo, the skill will be grown up. And especially today, the Gukyeon demonstration is the world best, but the Uganda Taekwondo also we're going to catch up, and we do practice, and then we want to show them not compare with exactly in the Gukyeon, but in Uganda we have the skill, and then that means the Uganda Taekwondo also making more and progressive, and then making more to get the goal.
This exhibition is part of the bigger Korea-Uganda celebration of 60 years of collaboration that started last week and has witnessed the K-pop festival, the Korea Taekwondo Ambassadors Cup, and now this Cookie-Won demonstration, with many more activities still to come. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Coco Beach in Entebbe has hosted the second beach woodball circuit, which also acted as a national team training session. Take a watch.
The nation's best woodball players have contested the second beach woodball circuit at Coco Beach in Entebbe. The highlight of the day was from Geoffrey Towongo, whose 32 strokes in 12 gets in the men's singles is a new record.
Mainly, I'm so grateful for how I handled myself and how I've been getting, and I mainly concentrated on not going out, and I ended up achieving my goal as the way I planned for.
Uganda Woodball Federation used the occasion as a practice session for the national team players that are preparing for the Beach Woodball World Cup in July.
We believe the sport is growing, and we hope that the national team that is preparing for the World Cup is actually taking shape. And as we wait for the registration, it's supposed to start in June next month.
To me, it was a good experience playing this second beach circuit, because I had a good challenge with one of my competitors. We played on the same scorecard, Toong.
This second beach has helped me in such a way that I've been off training since we've not gotten the time, and this is actually our second training as Team Uganda. So I'm getting experience from different players.
As for second beach outing, we are actually looking at the game situation part of it, because there was supposed to be a day before for the non-residential, but we say no, let's have it on the day for the game, such that we can see how they perform on game situation.
In the action, Joyce Nalubega won the women's singles, while Okelo Abenego and Isaac Nabugere claimed the men's doubles. Jackie Naula and Joan Mokova triumphed in the women's doubles, while Ladislas Mudingoto and Christine Birunji bettered all in the mixed doubles. In the corporate category, Raymond Semata beat all men, with Babidi Naluga best in the women, while Raymond Semata and Michael Musasi dominated the men's doubles. The women's doubles was won by Joan Najuma and Rose Nakandi, while Peter Mutiaba and Alice Amoding triumphed in the mixed doubles. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
And that story brings us to the end of this edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Wishing you a blessed night, but I'll leave you with the weather forecast for tomorrow with Sharon at the Weather Center in Entebbe.
Thank you for staying with UBC. I'm Sharon Nakadidi tonight with the weather update brought to you by Uganda National Meteorological Authority. We've basically had sunny intervals in the morning and in the afternoon in most parts of Uganda, apart from the northern and the western stretch, which experienced a few light rains due to the Congo forest that is pushing moist winds towards our country, Uganda. Tomorrow morning, we are forecasting light rains in Kampala and in Masaka. As for Nakasongola, we shall have sunny intervals. In the western stretch, we shall have sunny intervals, while for Jinja and Tororo, we are forecasting light rains, sunny intervals in Soroti. For the northern parts of Uganda in the morning, we shall have sunny intervals. During the course of the afternoon, we shall have a pickup of light rains over most parts of Uganda, temperatures rising up to 26 degrees Celsius in our capital city, Kampala, and 29 degrees Celsius in Nakasongola. For Kasese, we are forecasting 31 degrees Celsius, while for Kabale Highlands, temperatures will go up to 25 degrees Celsius. For Jinja and Tororo, temperatures will raise up to 29 degrees Celsius. For North, we are forecasting 30 degrees Celsius in most parts of the northern Uganda. For international weather forecast, it will be bright and sunny in Dubai and Cairo, temperatures raising up to 42 degrees Celsius in Dubai. As for Nairobi, we are forecasting light rains, temperatures raising up to 24 degrees Celsius. It will be cloudy in Beijing at 26 degrees Celsius. That concludes our weather forecast today. Till tomorrow, have a good night.